All right, so in this section we're going to learn to multiply polynomials. We're going to review our exponent rules real quickly. Remember our product rule. If we have a base brought to a power and we multiply it times that same base brought to a different power, then we add those exponents together. The base doesn't change. We just add the exponents. Our power rule, or our power to power rule, states that if we have something and it's brought to a power, and then we want to bring it to another power, that is when we multiply those exponents together, a to the m times n. So then our products to power rules, just remember if anything is inside parentheses and it is brought to a power, that means everything inside those parentheses are brought to that power. And so those are the three that we probably will be using most today. If you wanted to make a little note card or something like that and start having a little reference for all these exponent rules, we probably will be going over a few more within the next couple of chapters, and so that way you could have all your exponent rules there together. So these are the first three that we're going to learn today. So let's just do some examples of each of these. This is our product rule. So we have 2 brought to the second power times 2 brought to the fourth power. So remember, we are not going to multiply those two bases together. We still have the base of 2. And then we are going to just add those exponents. So 2 plus 4. So that is 2 to the 6th power. And if you did that in your calculator, that would be 64. But this is really what we're learning right now. Okay, so x to the 6th power times x to the 4th power means x to the 6 plus 4 power, which is x to the 10th power. Now, the next example is y times y to the 7th power. Well, what power does this one have? Well, remember, if nothing is up there, it's an automatic power of 1. So we have to remember that there is that little imaginary 1 there. So that's y to the 1 plus 7, so y to the 8th power. Now, even if we have more than 1, as long as these bases are all the same, we are still just going to add all those exponents. And 4 plus 3 plus 2 is 9. Okay, I'm going to do a few more examples over here of the other rules. So if we have 3 to the 4th power and then we take it to the 5th power, that is that power rule, that products to power rule. So anytime you're taking one exponent, you're bringing it to the power of another exponent, remember that is multiplication. So 4 times 5, or 3 to the 20th power. Just like if we have x to the 9th power, then we bring it to the 10th power, that means we multiply those. X to the 9 times 10, which is x to the 90th power. Okay, and then the last products to power rule, let's just do an example of that. Let's say, what if I have negative 5 and he's brought to the 7th power, and then we're going to take that whole thing and bring it to the 3rd power. And then the last 2x let's just say we're taking that to the fourth power. That means everything inside those parentheses are brought to that fourth power. So 2 is brought to the fourth power, then x is brought to that fourth power. So 2 to the fourth power is 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2, which is 8, times 2, which is 16. So just remember that this means 2 times 2, 4 times, right? It's not 2 times 4. Common mistake. You multiply that number times itself that number of times, okay? And so just, keep in mind those are the rules that we're going to be using for some of this section. So now we're going to multiply some monomials, okay? So we're going to multiply the numbers, but then add those like base exponents. So here we've got 7x squared and we're multiplying it times 10x. Well, remember, we're multiplying our numbers, so that's 7 times 10. And then we're saying that x squared times that x. So 7 times 10 is 70 x to the 2 plus the imaginary 1 power, so third power. Multiply my numbers. -5 times 4, -20. Add my exponents, x to the fourth, x to the fifth. 4 plus 5 is 9. Now here's an example where we're going to distribute this monomial to a binomial. So we're going to say this 3x is multiplied times that x plus the 3x is also multiplied times that 5. All right, so that's just the distributive property, making sure anything on the outside up next to the parentheses is multiplied by everything inside those parentheses. So 3x times the x is 3x squared. X times x is x squared. 3x times 5, multiply my numbers. 3 times 5 is 15, and I just have a single x. All right. Same thing on this last example. Multiply these two terms together. So the 6 times 5 is 30. X squared times x cubed means x to the 2 plus 3, which is 5. Now we're going to do 6x squared times that negative 2x. So 6 times the negative 2 is negative 12. Add my exponents. I have 2 here plus 1 on this term, so x cubed. Now 6x squared times the 3. Multiply the numbers. 6 times 3 is 18. And x squared times nothing over there. We still just have that x squared. Okay, so hopefully that's not too bad. Now we're going to learn to multiply some binomials. And what we're going to do here is just like we did before, but we've got one binomial and we're multiplying it by another binomial. And what we have to do is say, well, this first term here has to be multiplied by everything over on the other side. So we're going to take this first x, let me go ahead and, this first x, and he is going to have to be multiplied by that x plus 5. Then we're going to take the plus 4 and multiply that times everything on the other, in the other binomial. Okay? So this binomial is this one and this one. We just had to split up the x and the 4 so that everything gets multiplied by everything. It's like we say we play tag with the first binomial. The first binomial has to play tag with everything in the second binomial. Okay, so let's distribute this out. X times x gives me x squared. X times 5 gives me 5x. Now the 4 times x gives me 4x, and the 4 times 5 gives me 20. Well, notice that we've got some like terms here, so we do need to simplify that and say, okay, well, I've got 5x's plus another 4x. I have 9x total. Okay, so we play tag. Now another way to do that, I'm just going to show you two ways. So this is method 1, where we play tag. In method 2, we're going to create a box here. And we're going to put each binomial in this box. Okay, so we have x plus 4. We have x plus 5. Okay, and now what we're going to do here is just meet in the middle. So if I say this x, oh, I didn't know that would cover that up. This x is being multiplied by this x. That gives us x squared. So now this x being multiplied by the 4 meeting in this box, that gives us a 4x. Now the 2 that meet in this box will be the x and the 5. So x times 5 is 5x. And the last box here will be where these two meet, the 4 times the 5, and that is 20. And sometimes that helps you see what all your like terms are, or what your, what all, so you don't miss anything. But then we're just going to join all of our like terms together. Well, first off, we have this x squared. Now these two can be joined together, the 5x and the 4x, and they're both positive, so that makes 9x. And then we have that 20 on the end. So you see how we can get the same answer, whichever way you decide to do it. Okay, so we're going to do a few more examples of these. If you want to try to do them on your own and then come back and check your answers with me, that would be great. It would be a good time to pause your video. What I am going to do is circle this one, multiply it times this, 5x times the 2x, so 5x times the negative 7, negative 35x. So now he's played tag, so now we're going to take the 3, multiply it by the 2x, 6x, and multiply it by that negative 7, so negative 21. Then final answer, join our like terms, so that's 10x squared minus 29x minus 21. And I might just show you, let's see, if I say this is that 5x times the 2x, then the green one was 5x times the negative 7, The one in blue was plus the 3 times the 2x. And the one in dark purple was times that -7. So maybe I should put that step in there. All right, so we're just going to do it again. And now we're just distributing to 3 of them. So plus 5x times the 3 is 15x. Okay, so the first term has played tag with everything. So now we're ready to go to the second term, this 2. So now the 2 times the x squared. 2 times the -4x. Oops, I put that in the wrong spot. Sorry, that would be -8x. Then the 2 times the 3. Okay, but we still, before we finish, we've got to make sure that we combine any like terms. Okay, so we have the 5x cubed. So we've got -20x squared and a positive 2x squared, so that gives us -18x squared. Then we have positive 15 and a -8. That gives us a positive 7x's. And then last but not least, our positive 6 at the end. Okay, so this, you're going to have to pay attention to detail here. Just watching, making sure you're multiplying everything. Being very careful about multiplying numbers, adding exponents. Okay, so that one is 6x to the 5th power. So now 3x squared times the -5x squared gives us -15x to the 4th. So now we're moving on down the line. So plus the 3x squared times the 4x. It gives us 12x cubes. And as these things get longer and longer, when I start to go to this second term, I can go ahead and combine like terms if I want to. So like in this case, that's going to give us a -4x cubed, x to the 4th. So I could go ahead and put this here, and that makes adding those like terms together in the end just a little bit easier when you've already got them lined up together. And so that's going to be an x cubed term, so I'm going to line it up right there with my other x cubed. And then we have that -2x times the 4x. So don't have any x squareds, so we'll just tag him on at the end there. Now for the final answer, all we have to do is add all those up, which I don't have room, so I'm just going to do it here. 6x to the 5th, so we have -15x to the 4th and -4x to the 4th. So that makes -19x to the 4th Positive 12x cubes, negative 10x cubes leaves us with 2x cubes. And then negative 8x squared at the end. So that is our final answer. Okay, well that looks a little messy, but hopefully you followed along really well. Okay, so let's do one more. Do it a little bit faster. So 3x times x gives us 3x squared. 3x times the 5 gives us 15x. So now negative 4 times the x gives us negative 4x, and negative 4 times the 5 gives us negative 20. So final answer, combining those like terms, 3x squared plus 11x minus 20.